part of our family as well. So before we begin, we need to know how we're going to connect with one another as well, as far as being able to know what's happening in this service. This is not a performance. How many of you have seen Megan perform, at dance recitals and so forth? Okay? Exactly. This is not a dance recital. All right? So unless she wants to break out and dance, I love you. She's awesome. So every now and then, and the music may move you to want to break out and dance. That's a good thing. But also, this is about worship. This is about participating in our Shabbat worship this morning. And so in order for us to do that, we need to have the right tools to feel comfortable and to be a part of this. So first of all, we're not going to be applauding throughout this service. As I mentioned, this isn't a recital or anything like that. We'll say, sometimes you'll hear us say Yasher Koach or Mazel Tov when she maybe reads from Torah after she's read from Torah. It means you've done this with such great strength, and we're so proud of you. But the way that we're going to be participating with her and for all of us joining together in worship is, first of all, needing to use our prayer books. So the prayer books are right in front of you. Those of you in the front row, they're right underneath your seats. If you need another one, there you go. Perfect. All right. So the prayer books, as you open them there, so some of her friends who don't know any of the Hebrew there, what do you notice about these prayer books? What's different about these books than anything else? Yes. Yeah, excellent. So they have the Hebrew transferred. Not only is it in the Hebrew letters, but it's also in what we call transliteration. So on the right-hand columns, if you open to any page that has Hebrew in it, you'll notice on the right-hand column, it has the Hebrew, and the left-hand column has the transliteration. So if you don't know how to read Hebrew, you can follow along by following along with those English letters there. What else do you guys notice about the book? It's a little bit different. Yes? Exactly. Hebrew is read from right to left instead of left to right, which means the book opens the opposite way. The front of the book is on the back. Yes? Thank you. You are absolutely right. It has everything that we need in it. Now, you also brought up something very interesting too, because you say it's got half of it in there. If you look on the pages, so open up to any page there that has numbers on it, there's two different sets of page numbers. So you've got the black numbers and you've got the blue numbers. And the reason why is because the Mishkan Tefillah, this is only the Shabbat version. There's another copy that's the festivals and weekday version. And if you put them all together, it's a really, really thick book. May I? Thank you. Not only is Megan leading us in worship, she's also doing a little bit of weightlifting. This is the prayer book that Megan is using, which is the full version, Mishkan Tefillah. So it has all of the services in it. It has the weekday, it has the festival, and Shabbat. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be calling out the page numbers in the blue, because that will correspond to Megan's pages. So when we call page numbers, look for the numbers in the blue. Those of you who come on Friday nights, you're used to hearing us refer to the numbers in the black. Tonight we're going for the blue, or this morning. Also, Megan's prayer book is different in that it does not have any of the transliteration in it. It's got only the Hebrew and then the English translations. But all of the Hebrew is in there by itself because Megan has been studying Hebrew for a number of years and she doesn't need the transliteration. So that is her prayer book. It's a little bit different. So we invite you to follow along in the readings. We invite you to join along in the readings. There's no italics. Those of you who are used to the old gates of prayer and so forth, there would be, the straight and then the italics. The italics is our invitation to read along with the reader. No, in this prayer book, really, if you're moved to want to read along in a prayer, then please do so. This is our opportunity to gather everybody to be able to pray and to worship together. So join along in singing. Cantor's going to be leading us in a lot of music. If you don't know the words or you don't want to get tongue-tied with the Hebrew, Lai works very well. All right, it's the universal, I don't know the words, but I'm going to sing along anyway. So do so. We also pray with our bodies. There'll be times that we'll be inviting everybody to stand up. Sean, I'll get you, don't worry, we'll get you to that. And also, you'll notice that there are times where we bow in humble reverence before God as well. So there's some different prayer choreography that happens throughout. And we invite you to participate in all of it. Finally, we pray with what we wear. We have the kippah, the yarmulke that we wear. It's a reminder of God's presence all around us. And finally, we have the tallit, the prayer shawl. It is a commandment in our Torah to wear fringes on the corners of our garments. They're called tzitzit. The tzitzit are a reminder that when we look at the fringes, we are reminded of the 613 commandments that are in the Torah. Not just 10. There's 613. Megan, would you like to start reciting those? I'm kidding. That was actually your brother's going to do that. You ready, Gavin? Number 1. No, okay. But what we are commanded to do is not memorize them. That's not what it's about. It's rather that when we look at the tzitzit, we remember that there are 613 mitzvot, and we're supposed to study them, learn about them, and be able to find how it is that we make them relevant in our lives today, in the 21st century. Well, when a young man becomes a bar mitzvah, he receives his first tallit. And when a young woman becomes a bat mitzvah, a daughter of the commandments, she receives her first tallit. And so it is my honor at this time, so Megan, come on up here and join me to invite forward your grandparents, Melton and Marcia Solomon, to present you with your tallit.
Wow, what could be nicer than a grandparent being at a simcha, being at whether at a bar or a bat mitzvah or a wedding, and to be at an occasion that's so very special. And today is one of those days. And I just want to tell you something, Maggie. Grandma and I are just so very proud of you. All that you have done, all of your achievements, what you have been through, and where you've come from, and the way you interact with your friends and your family, adults, children. It's just so beautiful. I've heard, though, that between 7 in the morning and 8:30, you are a little bit grumpy, but let's just keep it from 8:30 onwards, that you are really a special lady, and we're very, very proud of you. So we just hope that this tallit, which is for you, the meaning of it stays with you for the rest of your life, and that we just wish you all the very best, health and happiness, and we love you very much.
First she's going to take it, yeah. Just say a blessing. Thanks. Come closer over here, Megan.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehitatef b'tzitzit.
Amen.
Oh wait, I forgot something.
There you go.
Now we're good.
Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, eternal soul of the universe, who makes us holy through the mitzvot and commands us in the wearing of the fringes on the corners of our garment. Give Grandpa a hug, too. There you go. She wanted a hug. So we give thanks for all of our blessings as we... Nope, you guys stay seated for a few moments. There you go. As we turn to page 186, we join together, Modeh Moda Ani.
מודה אני לפניך, מלך חי וקיים, שהחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה, בחמלה, רבה אמונתך, רבה אמונתך, מודה אני לפניך, מלך חי וקיים, שהחזרת בי נשמתי בחמלה, בחמלה, רבה אמונתך, רבה אמונתך.
It is my honor to call forward the brother of our bar mitzvah, Gavin, to come forward and to share his blessings for his sister. Now, would you like her to come and join you here as well?
Sure.
Megan, come on over.
Why not?
Absolutely. Take that down right there. So there you go.
Don't look at it. You can stand here, just don't look at the speech. Okay.
She's not looking, don't worry.
Hi. Hey, Megan, get ready to be embarrassed. A lot. A lot. So, I'm just gonna name things that Megan is very good at. Megan, you are excellent at sleeping.
Thank you.
From, I don't even know what time you go to bed. From whenever she goes to bed till, if she could, she would sleep the whole day. She just sleeps. She's a koala. I don't know. She's good at driving me up the wall. That she does a lot. And literally she'll be able to drive pretty soon. Don't drive up walls, it's dangerous.
Thanks for the tip.
Oh, and I've told you this one a million times. Megan's very good at drawing half of a face. Megan, I will tell you you are a good artist when you draw me a whole face. 360 degrees, a whole face.
Why is your face so round?
She's good at dancing. Yeah. And like my grandpa pointed out, she's good at being a grump. In fact, when she is a grump, she has a couple nicknames. Why don't I share them with you?
Gavin?
Please no.
Be kind to her, please.
Okay, I guess not. Yeah. Mic drop.
That's it?
Yeah.
Thanks.
What's the last sentence?
Oh, I do. Okay. Yeah. Okay, I have a last sentence. In conclusion, I guess Megan's a pretty cool sister. Ish.
Megan, hang on. Jody Adeo and Melissa Tidd, if you will come share a reading for her, please.
Believe in miracles.
Love your life. Believe in your power and your own potential and your own innate goodness.
Every morning awake with the awe of being alive. Each day discover the magnificent, awesome beauty in the world. Explore and embrace your life and in everyone you see each day.
Reach within to find your own special happiness. Amaze yourself and arouse the ones around you. potential of each new day.
Do not be afraid to admit you are less than perfect. This is the essence of your humanity. Let those who love you help you, trusting enough to be able to take.
It's not funny.
Look with hope to the horizon of today, for today is all we have. Live this day well.
Let a little sunshine out as well as in. Create your own rainbows. Be open to all the possibilities. Possibilities can be miracles. Always believe in miracles.
Thank you.
And we love you, and we're very proud of you.
Thank you.
We turn to page 224 with Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבם,
Amen.
בעלמא דירה חירותי, וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון וחיי כל בית ישראל, בהגלה ובזמן קריב, במהרו.
Amen. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה, יתברך.
יתברך וישתבח ויפאר ויתרומם וינשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמה במהרו.
Amen. As we rise for Baruch Hu, the call to worship, page 226.
Yai la 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 yai la la yai la 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 yai la 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 yai la 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 yai la 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 Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Page 228.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam yotzer or uvorei hoshech oseh shalom uvorei et hakol hameir la'aretz v'ladarim alecha berachamim uvtuvo mechadesh bechol yom tamid Maaseh Bereshit. Ma Rabu Maasecha Adonai Kulam Bechochma Asita Mala Haaretz Kinyanecha Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu al shevach maaseh yadecha ve'al morei or she'asita yefa'arucha selah.
Or Chadash al Zion Tahir Or Chadash, Al Zion Tahir Or Chadash, Al Zion Tahir Or Chadash, Al Zion Tahir. ונזכה כולנו במהרה לאורו, ונזכה כולנו במהרה לאורו. אור חדש על ציון תאיר, אור חדש על ציון תאיר.
Baruch Atah Adonai Yotzer Hamorot. Please join me on page 231. Love your neighbor as yourself, you said, and light blinded we saw, that inner and outer worlds are one, as you are one. You spoke and we wrote. We reached for you down the centuries, your light moving before us. As we climbed, fell back, and climbed again, your Sinai of life.
Baruch Atah Adonai, Habocher ba'amo Yisrael ba'ahava.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Please be seated. We continue chanting together the Haftarah on page 234. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavcha uvechol nafshecha uvechol me'odecha vehayu hadivarim ha'ele asher Anochim mitzavecha hayom al levavecha vishinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'derech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha uv'shartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha uv'yisharecha leman tizkeru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim le'elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lihyot lachem le'elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. We continue on page 240 singing the Micha Mocha.
Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 Mi kamocha ba'enim Adonai Mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh Nora tehilot oseh pelet Nora tehilot oseh pelet Shir החדשה שיבחו גאולים לשמחה אספת הים יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד Ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 Su Israel Kuma be'ezrat Yisrael Ufedechenu mecha Yehuda ve'Yisrael Go'aleinu Adonai tzvaot shemo Kedosh Yisrael Baruch ata Adonai
Baruch Shemo
Ga'a Yisrael
Amen Adonai sifata tiftach Uhufiya gitehilatecha Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'Koneh Hakol, Ve'Zocher Chastei Avot ve'Imahot, U'Mevii Gula Livnei V'neihem, Lema'an Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol atah Rav le'Hoshia, Morid hatal, Mechakel chayim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim ve'rofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar. Michamocha ba'gevurot, umido melach. Melech memit umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua. V'neheman ata lachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hakol. Nekadesh et shemcha ba'olam, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ, כבודו. אדיר, אדירנו, אדוני, אדוננו, מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ. ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו.
echad hu Eloheinu, hu Avinu hu Malkeinu, hu Moshienu vehu Yashmienu, berachamav le'nei kol chai. Ani Adonai Elohechem,
Yimloch Adonai le'olam, Elohai Zion, ledor vador. Hallelujah.
לדור ודור נגיד גולך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
Amen.
To all generations we will declare your greatness, and for all eternity proclaim your holiness. Your praise, O God, shall never depart from our lips. Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God.
Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
We join together on page 250 on the bottom of the page as we sing Vishamru. Vishamru
B'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
ביני ובין בני ישראל, אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת
ויהי נפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Please join me on page 253. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God.
Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat.
Please join me on page 255. Ever-present one, may we, your people Israel, be worthy in our deeds and prayer, wherever we live, wherever we seek you, in this land, in Zion restored, in all lands. You are our God, whom alone we serve in reverence.
Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadecha b'yirah na'avod.
For the expanding grandeur of creation, worlds known and unknown, galaxies beyond galaxies, filling us with awe and challenging our imaginations.
Modim anachnu lach.
For this fragile planet Earth, its times and tides, its sunsets and seasons.
Modim anachnu lach.
For the joy of human life, its wonders and surprises, its hopes and achievements. Modim anachnu lach. For human community, our common past and future hope, our oneness transcending all separation, our capacity to work for peace and justice in the midst of hostility and oppression.
Modim anachnu lach.
For hopes and noble causes, for faith without fanaticism, for understanding of views not shared. Modim anachnu lach. For all who have labored and suffered for a fairer world, who have lived so that others might live in dignity and freedom.
Modim anachnu lach.
For human liberties and sacred rights, for opportunities to change and grow, to affirm and choose.
Modim anachnu lach.
We pray that we may not live by our fears, but by our hopes, not by our words, but by our deeds. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is God, goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving.
Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha u'lecha na'eh lehodot.
As we invite you to turn to page 258 and join with us in Sim Shalom. And if you don't know the words, again, Lai works very well. Sim Shalom, Tova u'vracha, Chen v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu, Ve'ako Yisrael, Ve'ako Yisrael Amecha. Barucheinu Yosreinu kulanu ke'echad, Ve'or panecha, Ki ve'or panecha natata lanu, Adonai Eloheinu. Sim shalom, tova u'vracha, Ein v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu, Ve'ako Yisrael Amecha. Torah chaim v'ahavat chesed, Ve'ahavat chesed, tzedaka u'racha v'rachamim, v'chayim v'shalom. Sim shalom, tova u'vracha, Ein v'chesed v'rachamim aleinu, Ve'ako Yisrael Amecha. V'tov me'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שים שלום, טובה וברכה, חן וחסד ורחמים עלינו, והכל ישראל עמך.
ברוך אתה אדוני,
ברוך שמו.
המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום.
Amen.
We continue in silent meditation.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך. יהיו לרצון אמרי פי והגיון ליבי לפניך. אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי, אדוני צורי וגואלי. Adonai imrefi והגיון ליבי לפניך יהיו לרצון imrefi והגיון ליבי לפניך אדוני צורי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי אדוני צורי וגואלי.
So we've reached this time in our service of Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for our reading of Torah. And Torah is the first 5 books of the Bible. It's Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, all contained in one scroll, one very, very large scroll, that actually, if we were to unroll it, it would reach from the front of our bima here. If I was to open those doors, it would go all the way to the back of the social hall. That's how much parchment it takes to write these words. Now, what's wonderful with Torah is it is something that has been passed down from generation to generation to generation for over 2,000 years. Torah has been a part of our lives and a part of our tradition. And these words that are written down, they're written down in the Hebrew, and what you'll notice too in a little while after we begin our Torah service, we'll invite you to come up and see the Torah up close and personal, is that you'll see in your prayer books there that the Hebrew letters have little dots and dashes on them, or underneath them, or to the side of them, or on top of them. Those are the vowels, the A's, E's, I's, O's, and U's. But those vowels are not in the Torah. Because you see, the Torah is written down the exact same way that it's always been written. And when the Jews dispersed, when they went to all the different lands and started speaking different languages, well, they started to lose a little bit of the Hebrew and the understanding and the meaning behind it. And so the rabbi said, wait a second, we need to create the vowels. We need to put them inside our text. Except, you see, there's something very important about Torah. One of the laws regarding Torah is that you are not allowed to take anything away, and you're also not allowed to add anything. So they weren't allowed to add any of the vowels. And as you'll see in a few minutes, the Torah doesn't have any of those vowels. So when Megan is reading from Torah, when anybody is reading from Torah, we're doing so without the vowels because we're studying the language. But we always have somebody next to us who has the text there in order to make sure that we say the right things. If I change the vowels, I change the meaning. And that there is a whole other discussion. You see, because Torah has been passed on for so long. It's been a part of our lives for so long. It was written so long ago that we have this crazy question of, wait a second, is it even relevant in our lives anymore? It talks about sacrifices that were performed in the temple in Jerusalem. Actually, if you look over there onto our stained glass wall, the gold window up there, that is, I'll give you a sneak preview for the high holidays. That is a representation of the second temple in Jerusalem. And so it was there that the people would gather. They would go to the temple there. They would give their offerings. Whether if you were a shepherd, you gave the first of your flock. If you were a farmer, you gave the first of your fruits. If you had a wine press, you gave the first of your wine or your oils and so forth. And you gave them as an offering to God. We don't do that anymore. That place doesn't exist anymore. Jerusalem exists, but the temple doesn't exist. And so our religion has changed, has transformed. Rather than the offerings of, the animals or of the food and so forth, it's the offerings of our hearts. It's the words, it's the prayers. That's how this got developed, is that we offer these words, and rather than the idea of somebody else doing the religion for us, it's each of us are responsible for our own worship, our own communication with God, our own connections with God. So we take this text, this ancient text, and we say, how do we make it meaningful in our lives? Well, we ask, We ask that question each and every time that we read Torah. And we're almost to the very, very end. We're almost to the last portion. This is the portion called Nitzavim. And so today, though, rather than my sharing with you what the Torah portion is all about and how we find meaning in it in our own lives, that is the job of our bat mitzvah. That is what Megan will be doing later on in her words of Torah, in her Devar Torah. She's going to be sharing with us. She has studied this text. She sat with it. She wrestled with it. She turned it over and over, and she said, how do I find meaning in it? And so we're going to be blessed later on by hearing her interpretation of these ancient words. But before we get there, we need to go on our journey of reading Torah. So throughout this Torah service, we're going to be inviting family members to be participating in the blessings of Torah, in reading the translations of Torah. We're going to be passing Torah one generation to the next. We're going to be marching through the congregation with the Torah. And as we do so, you're going to notice some people may take their prayer books and reach out and touch and kiss the Torah. It's a form of respect, or their tzitzit on their Tallit. It's a form of respect to the Torah. We don't worship Torah. So let's be really clear. We don't worship it. Rather, we show respect to it. And we are reminded that when we take the Torah and we march through the congregation with it, we're reminded that it belongs to each and every one of us. And that it's all of our responsibilities to study it, to learn from it, to grow with it. Yes, to question it. Yes, to wrestle with it. Don't just take it don't sit there and say the words, well, these are the words, therefore, this is what we have to do. No, we're supposed to challenge ourselves by it as well. That's the beauty of it. So when Megan will do a hakafah in a few moments with the Torah, you're reminding us that it belongs to all of us. And the Torah, Megan, that you are going to be marching through the congregation with our hakafah is a very special scroll, by the way. It is called the Czech scroll. It is from Czechoslovakia. This scroll is over 275 years old. This Torah scroll was in a synagogue in Eastern Europe, and then during the time of the Holocaust, when the Nazis came through and destroyed full communities, Jewish communities, they destroyed synagogues, but before they destroyed them, they took out Torah scrolls and other ritual objects, and they placed them into warehouses. Warehouses that then later, their hope, their idea was, after they destroyed all of the Jewish population, was to then create a museum to the lost people. We are far from lost. We are still here. After the war, these warehouses were found, and the Torah scrolls that were left inside, hundreds of them, rather than burying them, because many of them are damaged, just as ours is, that we have in our ark, pieces of it were cut out, pieces of it were destroyed. Rather than doing what we would normally do with a Torah scroll when it can no longer be used, we would bury it, just like we do with a person. When a person dies, we bury them. That's a way of showing respect to something, to a very holy object. Instead of burying them, they're in our arks. They are in synagogues throughout the world, as a reminder that we're still here, but also that we should never forget, that we should always remember, and that we should always remember not only the Shoah, not only remember the Holocaust, but remember the promise that we all made to never let it happen to anyone ever again. And so that is our job in our world, to help make this world a better place. And so, Megan, you are going to be carrying that wonderful scroll as a reminder not only of the past, but it is a beautiful blessing of the future as well. You are our future. You carry that Torah scroll into the future, and then you someday will pass it on to your children and grandchildren, just as will be passed on to you as well. So let us begin this wonderful journey of Torah as we turn in our prayer books, page 362.
אין כמוך ואלוהים אדוני ואין כמעשיך מלכותך מלכות כל עמים, וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום.
So as I mentioned earlier, passing Torah one generation to the next, so I invite the grandparents and the parents and our bat mitzvah to have Marty and Lynette Greenbaum, Milton and Marcia Solomon join Sean and Aaron along with Megan to come stand right here. Leave your prayer books down below with you. Right there, so stand right in the front. Beautiful. Sean and Aaron, if you'll go all the way over to the end next to Megan. Beautiful, and you can face everyone there. And also, I'm going to acknowledge our Torah cover holders, Dylan and Tyler Solomon. So we'll bring that over to you guys. Perfect. Come on up, Tyler. Also, you guys can have a seat in the front row. Dylan, you want to sit in the front row with Tyler? Go right up. Exactly, right there, Tyler. Perfect. There you go, Dylan. Excellent. And now I'd like to invite forward to open our ark doors Rachel and Joe Lederer and Teresa and Greg Whitehouse to please come forward and open our ark doors. And as they do so, we invite everyone to please rise.
Al harachamim היטיבה ברצונך את ציון, תבנה חומות ירושלים, תבנה חומות ירושלים, כי בך לבד בטחנו, מלך עולם ונישא, אדון עולמים.
Page 364, כי מציון.
כי מציון תצא תורה, כי מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני מירושלים.
In this scroll is the secret of our people's life from Sinai until now. Its teaching is love and justice, goodness and hope. Freedom is its gift to all who treasure it.
Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah, Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah, Le'amo Yisrael בקדושתו, שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד, אחד אלוהינו, גדול אדוננו, קדוש שמו, גדלו לאדוני איתי, ונרוממה שמו יחדיו.
And it is this gift of Torah that is one that is so precious. I'm going to leave you guys up there because I'm going to need, that's okay, because I'm going to need you to close the ark doors afterward. So perfect, thank you. So this beautiful gift of Torah, it has been a blessing for each of you. It has been a part of your lives. And you have been not only students of Torah, but you have been teachers of it as well. And passing it on to your children, and now Sean and Aaron, you get to give this beautiful gift to your daughter. So, Megan, this is yours. It belongs to you. Hold on to it tightly, and may its weight keep you rooted in all of our traditions, but also may it always lift you up and inspire you as we walk now in the light of Torah.
לך אדוני הגדולה והגבורה והתפארת והנצח והאור. בשמיים ובארץ, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ לך אדוני הממלכה, והברית נעשה לכל ראש. שלושה דברים, שלושה דברים, שלושה דברים, העולם עומד. שלושה דברים, שלושה דברים, שלושה דברים, העולם עומד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים. שלושה דברים, שלושה דברים, שלושה דברים, העולם עומד. שלושה דברים, שלושה דברים, שלושה דברים, העולם עומד. על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים, על התורה ועל העבודה ועל גמילות חסדים.
So, as I mentioned earlier, would love to have you come and see the Torah. So I'm going to invite anybody who would like to come up close and see the Torah, come on forward. Otherwise, you are welcome to have a seat. But if you want to come up, now you guys got to be in the back. Let everybody else get closer first, girls. All right. You guys toward the back. You get a good toward the back. Let's make sure everybody who hasn't seen one before. There you go. Yep, come gather around. There you go. No, you come close. No, you guys are allowed to come close. All right, come around here too. Come on. I don't bite often, just every now and then. So. Come on, come here, especially my shorter ones. There you go. Scooch over this way. Come on, there you go. Okay, so first of all, love your turtle. Nice. So first of all of our nice, all of our. I like it. It's a good saying. All of our B'nai Mitzvah students with the Torah scroll, it has a binder on it because to have a scroll is you need to keep it together. So Megan went ahead and made her Torah binder. So here you go. So this is Megan's Torah binder. It represents her. So there you are. I guess Chanel as well. But this is her binder, so we have a little bit of Megan wrapped with our Torah, which is wonderful. You over there, Megan? Oh, there you are. Hi. Oh, good. I thought you were still seated. Excellent. Nice job, sweetie. So you're welcome. So, all right. So let's show you guys the Torah scroll. So come closer. Come on. Will you hold on to that for me, please? Perfect. Hold on to that. Go for it. Thank you very much. Okay, so a Torah is made on parchment by it's with a kosher animal. So kosher animal is any animal that has split hooves and chews its cud. So that might be a goat, a sheep, cow, all can be what we can make parchment from. So, parchment is kind of like paper there, but it's a little bit thicker. We don't touch where the Hebrew letters are because the ink is all natural. It's made from different things like berries and sap and other things that we find in the earth. And it takes a whole year to make the ink because it has to be heated and cooled and heated and cooled because you want to make it as permanent as possible so that way it'll last for a very long time. So in fact, we've got that other Torah that we marched around with that's over 275 years old. If you take good care of a Torah scroll, then it can last for a long time. That's why we don't touch it. So when we want to follow along in what we're reading, what does that look like to you? A finger, exactly. A whole hand, actually. And what's the finger doing? It's pointing. This is the one time you're allowed to point in shul. All right? Is you use the yad. Yad means hand. And so to follow along, instead of my going like this with my fingers, I use this so I can keep track of where I'm writing. So a scribe sits down, and it takes a scribe about a year to write a Torah scroll. Depends on how fast they can do it. But they'll write it with either another Torah scroll next to them or a book called a tikkun. And the tikkun has it written down the exact same way. And remember what I said, you cannot take anything away and you cannot add anything to it. So therefore, this is written the exact same way that every Torah scroll has been written down, except what is different is a little bit of the handwriting and a little bit of the style. So there's different crowns on top of the letters, maybe the calligraphy. You know how we have different fonts on the computer? Okay, think about different fonts, so some different Hebrew fonts based on where the scribe is from. So that's actually, it's like a fingerprint when we think about it. When we look at Torah scrolls, and we had our Torah scrolls checked after our fire last year, the scribe was actually able to say to us where each Torah scroll was written or who the Torah scribe learned from based on the handwriting. So it's all handwritten. I can't put this in a printer and print on it. It all has to be handwritten, and do you know what they use to write it with? A feather. Feather and ink, okay? So very old-fashioned. You know a feather comes from a bird? Okay, good. So very, very old-fashioned how they have to do it. Now, you see, the parchment is also, it's sewn together. So there's about 4 or 5 columns per piece of parchment. It's sewn together using sinew, which comes again from the animal. And so because everything is totally natural. When a scribe is writing, if the scribe makes a mistake, they try to scrape it off, they try to correct it, but if the scribe is not able to scrape it off or to correct it, do you know what he has to do? Yes, Gavin? Start all over again. That piece of parchment. So could you imagine getting to the very last letter and all of a sudden you make a mistake and you can't fix it? Yeah, that's a bummer. So the scribe has to start all over with that again. Now, if you look closely too, it's all the lines, the columns are perfectly justified. And also, this one's a little harder to see, but the lines, there are actual, they etch in, kind of scratch in lines so that way they're able to position everything perfectly. So the letters, however, when we write, do you write on the line or do you write hanging from the line? What do you do with your letters? On the line, exactly. Well, in a Torah scroll, the letters are actually hanging from that top line. So something different about it as well. So there you go. That, my friends, is the Torah. Any questions? Okay, there'll be a test afterward. I'm kidding, not really. No, I'm kidding. All right, so there you go. Thank you. And you notice there's no vowels. I told you, no dots, no dashes, no punctuation either. There's absolutely no punctuation in the Torah either. So there you go. All right, my friends, you may go back and have a seat. Thank you very much. Okay. All right, so for our first For our first reading of Torah, we're going to invite forward, here you go, in the middle there. We're going to invite forward for the blessing will be Trevor Solomon and Lauren Solomon, and reading English translation, Cindy Sheffer, Candace Tillis, Dean Solomon, Randy Sheffer, and Ben Tillis. Yamdu, Tuvia ben Chaim, Ahuva bat Michal David, V'Pesha Mer, Shena bat Tuvia va'Ahuva, Ronan ben Ilanu Miriam, Batya bat Tuvia va'Ahuva, Benjamin Shlomo ben Shmuel va'Aviva Chana, Avraham ben Tuvia va'Ahuva, La'aliyah leTorah. The Torah's over here. Those of you who are doing the blessing, so Trevor and Lauren, why don't you go ahead and go on that side there. Those of you doing the English, join us right over here. And so I'm going to give that to you right there. And so Cantor, if you want to mark your first word there. There you go. And the blessing. Baruch Adonai habarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Barach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bacharbanu mikol ha'amim ונתן לנו את תורתו. ברוך אתה Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
אמן. אתם ניצבים היום כולכם לפני אדוני אלוהיכם, ראשיכם שבטיכם, זקניכם ושודריכם, כל איש ישראל. טפכם נשיכם וגרך אשר בקרב מחנך, מחוטי ביצך עד שואב ממך. לעוברך בברית אדוני אלוהיך ובעלתו אשר אדוני אלוהיך כורת עמך היום למען הקימותיך היום לא לעם והוא יהיה לך לאלוהים כאשר דיבר לך וכאשר נשבע לאבותיך לאברהם ליצחק וליעקב ולא איתכם לבדכם אנוכי כורת את הברית הזאת ואת העלה הזאת כי את אשר ישנו פה עמנו עומד היום לפני אדוני אלוהינו ואת אשר איננו פה עמנו היום.
Baruch atah Adonai.
You stand this day, all of you, before Adonai, your God, your tribal heads, your elders, and your officials, all the men of Israel, your children, your wives, and even the stranger within your camp, from the wood chopper to the water drawer.
to enter
into the covenant of Adonai your God, which Adonai your God makes with you this day, with its sanctions, to the end that God may establish you today as God's people and be your God, as God promised you and as swore to your fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob.
Not with you alone will I make this covenant with its sanctions, but both with those standing here with us today before Adonai our God and with those who are not here with us today.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah et emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Thank you.
I know, it's beautiful. For our second aliyah leTorah, we invite forward for the blessing Marty Greenbaum and English translation Lynette Greenbaum. Yamdu Matiyahu asher ben Liv v'nechama Leah Devorah bat Chaim v'tzipa Malka l'aliyah leTorah. So if you want to take Baruch Adonai havarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu hamborim le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai hamborach le'olam va'ed. Oh my God.
No problem.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'nachan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Would you mind holding on to that for me right there? Thank you. והיה כי יבואו עליך כל הדברים האלה, הברכה והקללה אשר נתתי לפניך, והשיבת אל לבבך בכל הגויים אשר הדיך אדוני אלוהיך שמה. ושבת עד אדוני אלוהיך ושמעת בקולו ככל אשר אנוכי מצווך היום, אתה ובניך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך. ושב אדוני אלוהיך את שבועתך וריחמך ושב בקיבצך מכל העמים אשר הפיצך אדוני אלוהיך שמה. אם יהיה נדחך בקצה השמיים משם, יקבצך אדוני אלוהיך, ומשם ייקחך, והביאך אדוני אלוהיך, אל הארץ אשר ירשו אבותיך, ורישת והיטיבך, והרבך מאבותיך.
When all these things have befallen you, the blessing and the curse which I have set before you, and you take them to heart amidst all the nations of which Adonai your God has driven you, and you return to Adonai your God, and your children heed God's command with all your heart and soul, then Adonai your God will redeem you from captivity and have compassion upon you, God. Will bring together again for among all the nations where Adonai your God was scattered. Even if your outcasts have been driven to the ends of the world, even if there will be Adonai your God gather you, and from there God will fetch you, and Adonai your God will bring you to the land of which your fathers possessed, and you too shall possess it, and God will make you prosper and make you more numerous than your ancestors.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher notan lanu Torah emet hayeh olam notah b'tovchenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. As we prepare now for our third aliyah, Torah, we invite forward for the blessing Milton Solomon and Marcia Solomon, and reading the English translation, Sean and Aaron Solomon. Yamdu Moshe ben Aaron v'Zelma v'Miriam bat Hirsch v'Chana v'Zalman ben Moshe v'Pesamira v'Ariela bat Abraham v'Sarah l'aliyah l'Torah.
Baruch et Adonai hamborach.
Baruch Adonai hamborach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai. No, Baruchu. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'chabanu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Ki hamitzvah hazot asher anochi metzavecha hayom lo niflet hi mimecha velo rechoka hi lo vashamayim hi lemor mi ya'ale lanu hashamayma vayikacheha lanu v'yashmi'enu ota v'na'asena v'lo me'evel hayam לים היא לאמור, מי יעבור לנו אל עבר הים ויקחיה לנו, וישמיענו אותה ונעשנה. כי קרוב אליך הדבר מאוד, בפיך ובלבבך לעשותו.
Surely this Torah, which I enjoin upon you today, is not too baffling for you, nor is it beyond your reach. It is not in the heavens that you should say, who among us can go up to the heavens and get it for us, and impart it to us, so that we may observe it. Neither is it beyond the sea that you should say, who among us can cross to the other side of the sea and get it for us and impart it to us, so that we may observe it. No, it is very close to you. It is in your mouth, and it is in your heart to observe it.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Yes, I go. Thank you.
They can come a little closer. There you go.
And so now,
Tamod habachura habat mitzvah Mia Chana bat Zalman ve'Ariela ve'Aliyah HaTorah.
take your seat.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bahar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Higadati lachem hayom ki avod tovedun lo ta'arichun yamim al ha'adama asher ata over et hayarden lavo shama lerishta ha'idoti vachem hayom et hashamayim ve'et haaretz hachayim ve'hamavet natati lefanecha habracha ve'hakilala uvacharta b'chayim lema'an tihyeh ata v'zarecha le'ahava et Adonai Elohecha lishmoa b'kolo uldov kavo ki hu chayecha ve'orech yamecha lashevet lashevet al ha'adama asher nishba Adonai le'avotecha le'Avraham Vateit lachem.
Yes.
I did it.
Now do the English.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I declare to you this day that you shall certainly perish. You shall not long endure on the soil that you are crossing the Jordan to enter and possess. I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day. I have put before you life and death, blessing and curse. Choose life if you and your offspring would live, by loving the eternal God, heeding God's commands, and holding fast to God. For thereby you shall long endure upon the soil that the Eternal swore to your fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give to them. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'hayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. Yasher koach, mazel tov.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm going to invite the two of you to go ahead, Aaron and Sean, to go back down to your seats. And Megan, you'll need that right there. No, you'll just need that right over there. And so we're going to lift the Torah here in just a moment to give honor to the Torah. And I'm going to invite forward, there you are. Hello, Tyler. Where's Dylan? Oh, that's Dylan. You're Dylan. I'm sorry. All right. And where'd Tyler go? Oh, no problem. Okay, so Dylan, can you do me a favor? Can you bring up the Torah mantle right there? With both hands, perfect, good job. Do you know why they're all in white, by the way? They're in white right now because the High Holidays, which is the Jewish New Year, starts tomorrow night. So we put things all in white because it's all brand new and exciting and beautiful. How's that sound? Cool. Can you still hold that for me, though, for just a moment? Right there. Beautiful. All right. And I'd like to invite forward also Kevin Solomon, who is our Torah holder. You will go ahead and have a seat right next to that. Hi, Tyler. Come on up. Perfect. Thank you. Because now we're going to give honor to the Torah. But I'm going to ask hey, Tyler, let's see if this works. You ready? Put your hands like this, Tyler. Here, Dylan, you too. Go ahead. I'll give this back to you in a second. Let's see if it works for you guys. Here, wait, scooch up this way so they can see you from over there. Okay. On the count of 3, you're going to lift up your arms, and we're going to see if they stand up. You ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Very nice. Excellent. We'll keep working. I know, Sean. I know. All right. So here you go, guys. Hold on to that one more time as we give honor now to the Torah.
וזאת התורה אשר שם משה לפני בני ישראל על פי אדוני ביד משה. יא לה 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 יא לה 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 יא לה 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 יא לה 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 Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la. Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la.
Let's see if it works for him too. Okay, show him how to do it, but this time you're going to do the opposite way because they're standing, so they got to go up high. Up high. Just like that. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you, gentlemen, so much. Megan, if they're with me, we're going to do a quick mishaberach as well. So, Before we begin our Haftarah, we also offer blessings of healing. You guys could go have a seat if you like. Want to go back down and have a seat? Or right next to him. Perfect, that works too. I'm good with that. There you go. That's awesome. That works. So we offer a Mishaberach for all of those who are in need of healing on page 371. Mishaberach Avotenu v'Imotenu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu Yivarech et HaCholim. May the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal all those who are ill. May the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored, their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit. And let us say, Amen. As now we continue with our Haftarah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratza b'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Yisrael amo uv'invi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. I greatly rejoice in Adonai. My whole being exalts in my God. For God has clothed me with the garments of triumph, wrapped me like a robe of victory, like a bridegroom adorned with a turban, like a bride bedecked with her finery. For as the earth brings forward her growth, and a garden makes the seed shoot up, so Adonai God will make victory and renown shoot up in the presence of all nations. For the sake of Zion I will not be silent. For the sake of Jerusalem I will not be still, till her victory emerge resplendent and her triumph like a flaming torch. Nations shall see your victory, and every king your majesty, and ye shall be called by a new name, which Adonai shall bestow. You shall be a glorious crown in the hand of Adonai, and a royal diadem in the palm of your God. Nevermore shall you be called forsaken, nor shall your land be called desolate. But you shall be called, I delight in her, and your land espoused. For Adonai takes delight in you, and your land shall be espoused. As a youth espouses a maiden, your sons shall espouse you, and as a bridegroom rejoices over his bride, so will your God rejoice over you. Upon your walls, O Jerusalem, I have set watchmen, who shall never be silent, by day or by night. O you, Adonai's remembrancers, take no rest, and give no rest to God, until God establish Jerusalem and make her renowned on earth. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam tzur kol ha'olamim tzadik bechol hadorot ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer ve'osei Hamedaber umekayem shekol devarav emet v'tzedek al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al ha'nevi'im ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limnucha lechavod ultifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach umevarchim otach yitbarach shimcha befi kol chai tamid leolam va'ed baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat.
Amen. Yasher koach. As we turn to page 374, and we'll return our Torah to the Ark. Would you like to come help us open the Ark doors? You want to come help us open the Ark doors too? All right. And we invite you all to please rise.
הודו על הארץ ושמיים וירם קרן לעמו תהילה לכל חסידיו לבני ישראל עם קרובו הללויה כי לכך טוב נתתי לכם תורתי אל תעזובו עץ חיים היא למחזיקים בה ותומכיה מאושר דרכיה דרכי נועם וכל נתיבותיה שלום השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה חדש חדש ימינו חדש ימינו כקדם.
Nice and slow. There we go. Okay, everybody has to turn around. We're going to get everybody seated again. Do you guys remember how to get them seated? What do you do? There you go. Very nice. All right, Megan, my dear. There we go. Okay.
Okay. You and you alone are responsible for your fate. This goes for everything. For example, in my house, if I am told to do something and complete it, I am rewarded with getting to do what I want, like hang out with my friends. But if I ignore what I am told to do, I will most likely get in trouble and not be able to hang out with my friends. I know that second example a little too well. Seriously, ask my parents. This week's Torah portion reflects my experiences. See, I set before you this day life and prosperity, death and adversity. God says you can choose. You can choose to follow the rules set before you and prosper, or turn away and be shamed. In my opinion, this portion is about choosing our path and about learning from our mistakes. God says that we can worship one God and follow his rules to prosper, or make the wrong decision and perish. But he says that our families and children will be able to rejoin the community if they choose to obey the laws set before them. It also teaches us that God is merciful toward the innocent. This teaches us the importance of taking responsibility and making our own decisions. We need to be responsible for the things we do, good or bad. After a dance or theater performance, I feel really good about myself. I know that I worked hard to perfect it, and when I do well, it feels good. When we really put the effort into doing the right thing, then we feel proud of our choices and what we can achieve. It's also important that we are all comfortable with being able to acknowledge when we make mistakes so that we can rectify them, learn from them, and move on. For example, if I slack off or procrastinate, it really doesn't feel good. It seems like the easy way out, but for example, if I procrastinate on a project or practicing for a performance, then the presentation or performance is not as good as it could have been, and then I feel bad after. If I use my time wisely, I feel great about the work I did on my presentation or performance. This idea of taking responsibility for my actions is truly what it means to me to become a bat mitzvah. I need to start maturing into a responsible adult. I need to do things on my own and make the right decision. Without my mom and dad, I never would have been able to do so. They support and love me unconditionally. I know I'm a difficult kid, but you're doing pretty well, just so you know. Next, Cantor and Rabbi and all of my teachers. Thank you for teaching me so much, not only about Hebrew, but what it really means to be a bat mitzvah, and helping me take on this responsibility. I'd like to thank my grandma and grandpa, and Auntie and Uncle Marty. Grandpa and Uncle Marty, thanks for teaching me about music. And Grandpa teaching me that drawing on napkins is always necessary. And Uncle Marty for teaching me that, and Uncle Smarty for teaching me that having a sense of humor is one of the greatest things ever. To Grandma and Auntie, you guys spoil me so much. I know it's because you love me, and I love you more, but a billion times more. To all of my aunts, uncles, and cousins, you all mean everything to me, and I wouldn't trade you for all the money in the world. To my family, you guys are weirdos. But I like to think of my family as fudge. Super sweet with a couple of nuts. To all of my friends, words can't describe how grateful I am to have such amazing people as friends. I got really lucky in the friend department. And Gavin, since I have to thank you, I guess you're kind of cool. Gavin, you're the best little brother I know. You're the only one in the family who I can be absolutely mental with. You're the best secret agent, avatar, scientist, and brother in the entire universe. And hello to all my family in South Africa. I'm excited that you could at least watch the video on the streaming. Finally, I'd like to thank Lovebugs for giving me the opportunity to do a special mitzvah project. I have been volunteering for a dog rescue organization called Lovebugs Rescue. I have loved dogs and animals for my whole life. I think that these animals are so innocent and defenseless, but get treated so horribly. I wanted to help these animals who needed good homes and a family to love them. Part of my work with Lovebugs was to go to special events where people who were looking to adopt a puppy could be matched with a dog needing a loving home. It was cool to see how the kids reacted to the puppies and the puppies reacted to them. The kids somehow just knew which puppy was meant for them. They were able to make a good choice of a puppy they wanted to bring into their home so they could love and care for it and who would love them in return. Making these kinds of choices, choosing to take on the responsibility of caring for a puppy for years to come, is one that takes commitment but can also give a family great rewards. That's the lesson we learned today. When we make good choices, life can be so much better than if we make bad ones, and you get to decide if you want to live, how you want to live and what choices you make. Thank you for coming.
Right there. It's a little rhetorical question. Do you guys know how much Bill Clinton gets paid to give a speech? It's roughly about $300,000 each one. Do you know how much I'm getting paid? So you get what you pay for. Ladies and gentlemen, settle in, get comfortable. Right now, I have my 13-year-old daughter's undivided attention. Stand like right there. It might be years, maybe a decade before I have a moment like this again, so I have a lot to say to her. Actually, Meg, with all these people, I realize I only have a few moments. So I'm going to skip over all the stuff about how cute you were when you were a little curly-haired girl. You can just look in your programs and reference that. I'm going to skip over how beautiful you are. You can look at your lineage for that. I'm going to skip over how smart you are. You can reference me for that. And I'm going to skip over how sweet you are. You can definitely reference your mother for that, not me. So Meg, what I want to do is I want to share a couple of thoughts with you that I hope will guide you through your teenage years and actually the rest of your life. I want to share these in the form of a wish. Meg, it's simple. I wish for you health and happiness. I believe that if you have these, you will live a good life. But there's a catch. I believe health and happiness are not things that you get. I believe health and happiness are things you choose for yourself. And the more you work on it, the more you have of each.
If you take care of yourself, if you eat right, if you don't do things that would jeopardize your well-being, you will be healthy. So Meg, I wish for you that you make wise choices so you can live a better life. But we also know sometimes in life, luck plays a part in our health. In our family, we know this only too well. Both your grandmothers, Grandma Melanie and Grandma Deanna, fell ill when they were relatively young, and after long battles with their respective illnesses, they sadly passed away. I really wish you could have met my mom, and Mommy often says how much she wishes we could have met Deanna. But in life, we don't always get what we want. However, you did get something from both your grandmothers. You got a perfect example of my second point, that you can choose to be happy. I know firsthand from my mom, and Mom has told me about Deanna, that even when they were sick, very, very sick, and when they knew they were going to die, they were still happy. Now, I know they weren't happy about being sick, but in spite of it, they chose to be happy. They were happy for what they had, for wonderful husbands and children, for loving friends and family. They also chose to be happy because their being happy made the people around them, it strengthened them, and it brought them happiness. So Meg, it is through your grandmothers you never met that I want for you to learn one of the greatest lessons. If you follow their example, my wish will come true. If you choose to be happy no matter what, you will lead a good life. Megzilla, I love you. I'm very proud of you.
I want you to take a look at all the people sitting here. This is your community. This is your family, your friends. All of the people sitting here today made you who you are right now and made this moment possible. These are lives that you have touched in one way or another. I want you to know that you have a lot of cheerleaders out there, aside from Ava and Emily. They're wishing you the best in your life, and for all of the support you have, I want you to also realize that the decisions you make in your life will affect more than just yourself. Remember that. I love you. I'm so proud of who you are. You amaze me with your determination and your true understanding of who you are. I want to leave you with these words famously said by Audrey Hepburn. For beautiful eyes, look for the good in others. For beautiful lips, speak only words of kindness and praise. For poise, walk with the knowledge that you are never alone. I love you.
So,
Huh? Are they? Well, as your mom said, and your dad as well, you are surrounded by your family, your framily. It's a new term that I've never heard, and I love it.
You should use it.
I'm going to. Thank you very much. Perfect. All right. And also your community. We are all so very proud of you. And so we have gifts to offer you at this time. I'd like to invite forward, representing our board of directors, Pam Hansberger, representing our brotherhood and also our sisterhood, Jack Holmes, and representing your friends and the youth of Temple Beth Shalom, Emily Brown, Ava Gerwitz, Rachel Glazer, and Julia Evans.
Mazel tov. You did a wonderful job today. You did a wonderful job today. You've been great friends to all of us, and we're so proud of you. 1, 2, 3. We love you.
On behalf of the youth group, the Haftarah candle.
Here's your Haftarah candle.
Well, Mazel Tov, Megan, Sean, Aaron, and the entire Solomon family. You did a tremendous job today leading us in our Torah study and in our Shabbat service. Wonderful job, Shasher Koach. You're an amazing young lady. You're a talented dancer. You're highly intelligent. You have a great sense of humor. You're the first young lady from your class to become a bat mitzvah. You're a very compassionate person, caring for animals and other people that need companionship. You're just an amazing young lady. On behalf of the sisterhood, we have a Kiddush cup for you, so that wherever life may take you, you can celebrate the joys of Shabbat. We also have for you a tzedakah box to inspire you to continue on with your good works. And again, on behalf of the brotherhood and sisterhood, Mazel Tov.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh boy.
I got a phone call from your mother many years ago at work that you and Emily were up to a little bit of trouble in preschool.
Oh, God.
I'm not going to share the story. We've all recovered. But it was from that day on that we knew that you have beautiful friendships here. You did a beautiful job today. I get to share a few words of wisdom and then do my formal duty on the board. Be true to yourself. If you need to be cranky or quiet from 7 to 8:30, just own it. And give people feedback around it in a kind, respectful way. And take feedback in a kind, respectful way. You need that for energy and to keep you a happy, healthy, and a beautiful part of our community. You showed that today, and you walked us through a great journey. All of you young women bring strengths to each other, and the men in the room too. You just have to figure what they all are and really treasure them, because you have a beautiful friendships and community here at the temple. Assume everyone wakes up every day with their best intentions. That will serve you well going through school and later on in your profession. And let people know what you need to be happy and healthy. Let yourself be seen and be extremely courageous. You've shown that today. So on behalf of the board of directors, you've actually already been using our gift to you. It's what you studied with, and it was part of your journey in this. It was your prayer book. We saw that earlier, and you did a beautiful job. So we hope you use it for many years to come. We also know that there is something that's planted in Israel for you. Would you like to share more?
Sure. So a tree has been planted in your honor by Cantor Reinwald and myself. And so you need to go and to find that tree because, and you'll be able to, because there's a scholarship from NIFTY, the North American Federation of Temple Youth, that you should be able to go and visit that tree, go find it, and make sure that you water it so it can continue to grow. And most importantly of all, don't forget, your watering day is Thursday. Thank you. There you go.
So on behalf of the board of directors and all of us in your Temple Beth Shalom community, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
How you doing?
Pretty good.
You should be. I'm very proud of you. We're all very proud of you. And so today you're going to be receiving a lot of blessings. Blessings don't only come from a rabbi or a cantor or from parents or a brother. Blessings come from every single person. And so we invite everyone throughout the day, go and give your blessings to Megan and share those hopes and dreams with her as well for a wonderful future. But for right now, we do get to take that honor of bestowing our blessings upon you. So I'm going to invite your parents, Aaron and Sean, to come up and join us, and to invite everyone to please rise as we get to invite you to the ark for our blessings. Come on up. closer. It's okay. It's all good. You're here. You made it. It's been an amazing journey, a one with lots of twists and turns and twirls, lots of jumps as well. But how beautiful to be in this spot, to be in this place, to be standing here before these Torah scrolls that have been transformed into their white. The white representing new beginnings, the white representing a new year. Megan, it may feel like right now this is an ending, and in some ways, yes, you have achieved this wonderful summit. You have climbed this mountain and you are here, and we are proud of you. Enjoy the view. But it's not the end. You see, there is still so many more places for you to explore. There is still so much for you to learn and to grow with and to wrestle with as well. You are very good, and I'm proud of that, of being able to say, why? How come? Really? Good. You should. That's what life's about. It's not just taking whatever is put in front of you and accepting it. It's about taking what's in front of you and saying, how can I learn from it? How can I turn it over and make it even better or find the wonderful blessings within it? So this is a beginning for you. This is a whole new place to start another climb. Atem nitzavim hayom kulchem. We stand here this day, all of us. We stand here in this place before our Torah scrolls, underneath our Ner Tamid, the eternal light that is a reminder of God's presence always with us. We stand here today with our community, our friends, our family, and all of Israel as well. And we say, you, my friend, have become a bat mitzvah. And you have accepted all of the blessings, but you also understand that in life there are challenges, and yes, there are consequences when maybe we don't take the right direction. But guess what? Nobody's perfect. Shh, don't tell them. That's okay. We don't expect you to be perfect. None of us are. So Megan, learn. Learn from every step. Learn from every twirl. Learn from every turn and jump and leap. And enjoy them. Grow with them. And may you, my friend, grow into being a blessing. A blessing not only for yourself, but also recognize that you are a blessing in our world and for all people. As we get to offer you words of Torah, these blessings that have been passed on generation to generation. You can put your hands on her too.
Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you and watch over you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yihuneka.
May God's light shine on you, in you, and through you. And may God be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
Megan, may you always feel God's presence around you. And just as you feel the hands that are placed upon you, they are also the hands of past generations that hold you always. May God's light always be with you and bless you today and tomorrow. And may God give you a life that is filled with happiness, with laughter, and with shalom, with peace. Amen.
Amen.
We remain standing as now we turn to our closing blessings of Aleinu L'Shabeach. We'll share, it's good. Page 586.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, l'teknu l'yotzeh bereshit, shelo asanu kigoyei haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gahar aleinu kechol ha'olam, v'anachnu korim, ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
We remain standing as our thoughts turn to those who are no longer with us, yet truly the memory of each of them is a blessing in our lives and in each of our days. On this, stay right here with me. We remember especially family who is no longer with us, yet we remember too that the family that has gone before us, we feel their embrace and we feel their love and their presence here. We remember George Edward Carey, Deanna Lee Carey, and Melanie Solomon. We also remember those who have recently departed from our lives in our community in the past month: Howard Jacobs, Jackie Bluestein, Edith Singer, and Alan Schwartz. We remember those whose yard sites we recall on this Shabbat and during this coming week: Lillian Adler, Herb Allen, Joseph M. Blum, Francis Brown, John Feinberg, Cora Gary, Yuri Gordon, Sarah P. Horwitz, Bill Kaplan, Seema Kaplan, Lolly Keys, Minnie Kleiner, Richard Knopf, Charlotte Kripke, Marion Post Crone, Matilda Mickey Ludwig, Kyoko Shimada Matsuoka, Jack Mayer, Florence Maisie, Richard Pollock, Ralph Schulman, Ruth Singer, Milton Stanton, Robert Russell Toole, Peter Wallensevich, Fanny Weiner, Selma Wolf, Murray Zwick. If there's anyone here who's in the period of mourning of Shiva, Shloshim, or Shana, or is remembering a loved one at this time whose name I have not called, I invite you as I face in your direction to please share their names with us. We also remember those 2,977 people whose lives were so tragically taken 14 years ago yesterday. All of those who have given their lives al Kiddush Hashem for the sanctification of God's holy name, and all those who have no one to say Kaddish for them. We join together with our Kaddish at home, our mourner's Kaddish, page 598. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, bi'alma divrach yurtei v'yamlich malchutei, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי תכל בית ישראל, ובעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם עולמי עולמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קדושה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירם בעלמא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלום רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום, עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. May the source of peace give peace to all who mourn, comfort to all who are bereaved, and let us say together, amen. So Sean and Aaron, and also Gavin, where did you go, my friend? Come on up here. Okay, not a problem. He'll be back in just a moment. But after our closing song, then we're going to invite everyone to join us in the social hall right behind you, so through that door directly behind you. And we'll invite you to take a little cup of grape juice. They're all grape juice. And if the challah is cut there, a little piece of challah, do not drink, do not eat yet. We're going to come gather with you and do our blessings of Kiddush and Shehechianu. There he is. And also Motzi together right after our service. So now at this time, I invite you, put your arms around somebody next to you. If you don't know who they are, say hello, introduce yourself. Nobody should stand alone. Move rows. There you go. There you go. There, perfect. Excellent. And also, we are honored to have joining us for our closing song, Milton Solomon. And our closing song is going to be Ein Kelo Heinu. You could have one person on the end holding up the book on page 626 if you like. Otherwise, Lai Lai, again, works very, very well.
Bam 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 ba-dum bam 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 ba-dum bam 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 ba-dum bam 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 Ein Kelo Heinu Ein Kadonenu Ein Kemalkeinu Ein Kamoshiheinu Mi Eloheinu Mi Kadonenu Mi Kemalkeinu Mi Kamoshiheinu Nodel Eloheinu Nodel Adonenu Nodel Malkeinu Nodel Moshiheinu Bam 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 ba-dum bam 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 ba-dum bam 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 ba-dum bam 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 Baruch Eloheinu Baruch Adonenu Baruch Malkeinu Baruch Moshiheinu Atahu Eloheinu Atahu Adonenu Atahu Malkeinu Atahu Moshiheinu Bam 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 ba-dum bam 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 ba-dum bam 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 ba-dum bam 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 bam.
Yasher koach. Bruchim atem b'vochem. Bruchim atem b'tzeichem yatav yad olam. Blessed were you coming into this place of worship, and blessed may you be as you go forward to a Shabbat of health, of happiness, a lot of music in your heart and soul. And let us say, Amen. Shabbat shalom and Yasher koach.